8 for discussion and possible action, consideration to approve a request from David Biazzi to not relocate meters and or install a black pole device as required by the district design standards and specifications, rules and regulations and cross connections and black pole policies. Aaron.
Yeah, Mr. Bianchi has brought this in November. I know they had a line break out there. I think the staff assisted in providing some parts to get you back up and running on that. And then staff's also assisted Mr. Bianchi trying to find a way to bring that up to the current specs and standards of the district. If there's a specific question for me right now, I can respond to that. I mean, past staff have a recommendation to, if we can put a backflow on the 6-inch, and that would bring it up to our specs, or if the meters were moved from near the property, or the homes, brought to the property line, that would also bring it up to our specs. But if there's any other insight on that as well, we can review that.
Do we understand what's taking place here, board members? Kenyon, could you help us out here?
I think so.
Help me out, I mean.
The way I understand it is there's a 6-inch line that runs from Water Tower Lane, which is the lane that goes up by the water tank that's on the hill there on Bunkerville. That runs from there up to the houses. Is that correct, Dave?
Well, there's a 6-inch line, but the valve is just turned on just barely. Okay, it's not running 6 inches of water down the line.
Right.
In full.
But it has no backflow preventer on there at this time, correct?
It does not.
No. And the meters are up next to the houses, which are up on the hill there. And to become compliant, either he's got to put a 6-inch backflow valve on there, or he needs to move the water meters to the property line as our specifications call for in our specification book that we just approved 2 meetings ago. So that's, here's my concern, Dave. You say it's only cracked
Just
a
let
little
me know when I
bit.
have the floor.
Okay. Do you want to state your name?
Yeah, my name is Dave Biazzi.
You have the floor.
Okay. First of all, just to let you know, that yellow square in the middle there is my property, okay? And everything around it, is either BLM or trust-owned property that's owned by a family trust. And I was a little bit taken back when I received this letter from the district because it was sent to my shopping center account building that's, block north of here, and which has like nothing to do with my personal meter here. And I was also questioned why the letter was sent to me when the water lines themselves and the meters themselves and all that actually sit on these other properties. But they just, I guess, picked a hat, one or two accounts, and came up with it. My position is this, okay? In 1992, maybe 1993, that water service was put into service. It was approved back then, and Bunkerville's kind of a different kind of animal. There's all kinds of water systems in Bunkerville. There's private lines going up private streets, like Scrub Lane, for instance. You've got properties that go to the center of the street, and that whole thing is just a private street. And over the years and years past, the water district actually upgraded their whole water system over there and put a hydrant up there, which was great. But I bring that up because there's like another property that's in our exact situation. This is, let me get it upside down here. This is the Sunrock gravel pit, okay? And there's 2 houses just to the east of that up on the hill.
The area Liddell, the houses.
Yeah, and the reason I know that is because we bought a house, foreclosure house up there and owned it for some time. And there happened to be a little hydrant at the top of the hill, and I didn't ever think it was real until one day I had the down with tobacco, touch something there, and out came the water, and then I had to call Kevin to shut the water off, and then I found out there was a 4-inch water line going up the top of the hill. And I just checked just the other day, and that there's still 2 meters at the very top of the hill. So my question is, are you gonna go around Bunkerville and kind of investigate all the private drives and the private meters that are sitting back and whatever, and make everybody come into compliance? I frankly, you know, just don't understand the need, okay? Our system is working just fine the way it is. Yeah, we had a water break, you know, first time in 20 years or something, and the water got shut off. I got, you know, Roman Perez to come and fix it. We borrowed some parts from the water district because there's some reducing bushings and so forth between, you know, to make it work. But our system is working just fine. So if you want to single me out, that's one thing. But if you want to go around, you know, I've got about, you know, 6 different places here in town that's got similar systems. Now, the Waddell Levitt Hill is the one that's exactly matches us, where you've got 2 houses on the hill, back 1,000 feet with a common water line at the top and the meters at the top. But I just, frankly, that 6-inch line, I did not know that it was a private system until the water was shut off that day. You know, my dad brought it up to test, put it into compliance, it was accepted, and when the water broke, that's where I knew where to shut it off. I found out that day that they have it just cranked open just a little teeny bit, because they said, you don't need 6 inches of water, you know, in the whole force of the water, if there's just 2 homes being serviced. And so it's a hardship, to be honest with you, it's a hardship for us. You know, my mother lives on Social Security. She doesn't have access to her trust assets. There's a whole group of attorneys that are using that for their retirement fund. And she, seriously, okay, seriously, she can't just go and say, hey, trustee, write me a check for, you know, whatever grand that we need here, okay? She's on her Social Security, you know, yeah, I'm chipping in some, but it's just a hardship, and I just wonder, you know, I understand, you know, first thing Mr. Ken Rock said to me, you've got a gravel pit up there. I said, so what? That gravel pit has been out of use for, I don't know, 5 years. It was a temporary use, and that's, you know, that's one of the criteria of have to have a backflow device. Yeah.
Dave,
Yeah.
can I interrupt?
Sure.
I talked with Aaron when I saw this on here. I talked to Aaron to kind of come up with an understanding of what was going on. And he felt like he had a proposal that was a great kind of fix for both parties. So if nobody objects, Aaron, you want to run that by everybody and see what
Sure, Dave.
kind of compromise?
If I may.
Sure.
We ran some new lines down from the homes for installing a new line there.
I have, okay, I have. It's been a hard process, especially going down the almost vertical hill, digging at my hand, okay?
No, that's understandable. This is something that again, would put the meters at the property line. It would be 3/4 inch meter, again, or the line would be a smaller line, would not require backflow. If we put those lines, or the meters right at that property line on water tower. Again, since this is a special issue, being that it's not a norm within our system, it's something that has been in use for an extended time. Might be a possibility that where that line is, that from my understanding where Dave's ran it to, is like 5 feet away from our main. And all it needs right now is to be hot tapped, and then the meters reinstalled, which the district does anyways, and he could be up and running again. If it's ran all the way to the house, if that's the case, then that could be. And it might be, you know, I would recommend, I've talked with staff and tried to brainstorm to help, since this is a hardship. That maybe in this circumstance, the district could do the hot tap, and which again, it would be a few hours, hot tap those 2 meters in for Mr. Biasi, and that would bring it up to our specs. It would not have the backflow issue. We'd have the meters at the property line, and I think it could work out for Mr. Biasi and the water district. So that's if.
That would be acceptable to me, to be honest with you. You know, $4,000 or $5,000 doesn't sound like a hardship, but it is. It is. And
That would be acceptable to you then?
yeah, and we would take the meters that we have that we're currently using, meter setters and stuff, and just use those so that, yeah, that would be acceptable.
Here's my question though with that. you still have that 6-inch line that's running.
It's gonna be capped off.
There you go.
It's gonna be capped off and.
That would have to be part of
MJ
the
valve or
stipulation.
something, MJ valve, I think MJ cap is what they put on
Well, that's where my concern is, if that line is still used and it still has a chance to break, then we have the possibility of crab getting back in line. Can you tell me, Dave, does that, I know there's a couple hydrants out there, does that 6-inch line feed those hydrants?
You know, they're there, but they're not turned on, okay, there's,
I know that at one time that there was some controversy on tests.
they're turned off. We found that out when we aired up that line, turned the water on. Roman Perez went over to open that up, there's no water coming out, well, they're turned off. I don't know how.
Are they turned off at the valve going to the hydrant, or
Exactly.
or does that 6-inch main run from water tower over to the road that goes to where the gravel pit was?
It goes clear over there, and there's hydrants along there, but they've been turned off.
All right, as long as that's capped off, and whatnot, I think that would work for me, but I think definitely that 6-inch line needs to be capped off.
You gotta make a motion.
Is there any other comments?
Yeah, I just have a question about the hydrants. Will the county accept those hydrants? I
No,
mean,
they're gonna be there. I don't know, I don't know anything about the hydrants. They're there, but they're the shut-off valve.
Yeah, I understand it's not part of yours. I was just wondering if the people that live there aren't concerned about the hydrants.
It's out in the desert.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not,
No houses
no
there.
houses
They
there.
just shovel some sand on it.
Yeah.
Did
I
they
believe
have-
in the past that was put in and never got the inspections it was needed to.
I wasn't around when it was put in.
That's fine.
It wasn't able to
Yeah.
be turned on, because I don't think it has any thrust blocks or anything behind those hydrants.
Is there any other comments from the council? Okay, excuse me.
And that, I guess for pass off, I guess inspection that the 6-inch line has been capped off be part of that too.
Right.
Okay, I'll seek a motion then.
I'll make the motion that we approve,
Mr. Bunker?
Mr. Bunker's, proposal with the, 6-inch line being capped off as indicated.
Now, is that capped off gonna be paid by the water district or by Mr. Biasi?
I guess, I would recommend that Mr. Biasi, the water just wouldn't do the work of capping that. It would be Mr. Biasi's responsibility and I guess we want to kind of do that all in one time to ensure that it's all done. I mean, capping it, and we would hot tap it, because the hot tapping takes, again, the guys can do that in a short amount of time, just so that there's no issue with getting it down to not having that 6-inch line cap.
But what I would suggest is this, is that we get the lines ready to go. Right now, they're not ready to go up at the house, because we've been digging for, not months up there, but in one area, there was a palm tree, and the roots were like cement, and, just like, not wanting to break anything, hand digging and digging and digging. But what I suggest is I get the stuff ready at the top, hooked up, I flush the lines out. Okay, so I flush them out so I know they're ready to go, because I'm gonna have shut-off valves up there, so I have to be live. So then you're gonna do the hot tapping, then we're gonna take our 2 meters and meter setters down and hook those up, okay? Then we have a live system. But you just shut that valve off to the 6-inch, okay? You shut that off so there's no water going up in there. So our system is live, the 6-inch has been shut off. Then at that point, I get top limit to go, I'm not gonna go cut it off, okay? I'm gonna have top
Are
limit.
we all in agreement? Okay.
Well, I think, hold on now. Right now, is your water being fed by the 6-inch line?
It is.
All right, so I think we need a
Time to determine a date.
time that, what are we, the 5th? I think by the 19th, we ought to have that done.
Absolutely, 2 weeks, absolutely.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a?
Could we add that to the motion?
Yeah, I'll amend my motion to include the, timeframe of being done by the 19th. What, did you have something else there?
That's just, the hot tapping and then the capping of the 6-inch, both those by the 19th.
And the capping, how do we ensure the capping gets taken care of if we?
inspect it.
You'll inspect it. If it's not done, we have to do it ourselves. Then we-
Time and material.
Time and
Plus.
material. Is that,
Yeah, I understand.
okay,
I understand.
all right. I'll amend my motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Say aye. None opposed. Thank you, Mr. Bianchi.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 9 is for discussion and possible action, consideration to appoint a staff member or board member as proxy to vote on behalf of the district's interest at upcoming irrigation company's annual meeting. This job would probably fall on Mr. Bunter, but he wants to make a declaration that he has.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to be the proxy for mosquito irrigation company. With the Bunkerville, just because I have family that is a ditch master on that and things of that nature, water rights, I think it'd be in the best interest of everybody if there was a different proxy for Bunkerville, so there wasn't any perception of conflict of interest or anything of that nature.
Who do we?
I have the same conflict in Bunkerville, so.
Wow.
my
I
comment-
guess, Mary, you're it.
I'd be happy to do that.
Okay. Is that okay? Yeah?
That's great. And
All right. We're going to put Mr. Gus Davison as the voter of our proxy stocks.
I'll make a motion that we approve, we ask Aaron to represent us at the Mosquito Irrigation Company as our proxy, and Carl Gustafson to represent us at the Bunkerville Irrigation Company meeting as our proxy.
The vote of the proxy, yeah.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second, call for the vote. All those in favor, motion passes. Item 10 is the hydraulics and interim general manager report.
Again, I provided a written report discussing some of the ongoings at the wells. Work is continuing to progress. Currently, the well 2 in Bunkerville, they're retrofitting the pump house for the new submersible pump that will be installed there, and also setting up for when the new 8-inch transmission line is completed and ties into that. So we'll have a new line going clear up to Riverside Road. That project, the 8-inch transmission line, we signed the notice for it to proceed this morning. Issued that. So one item that occurred on that 8-inch transmission line is Clark County required a permit fee that we weren't aware of. I think it was $2,995 additional cost that'll be required for that job. Valley Underground has went and paid that, and for the work in progress, that'll come back before us for review.
How many days did it have to do that, Aaron?
May, I can't remember exactly, May 5th, May 10th? It's first of May, somewhere right around there. I don't remember the exact date right now. On that timeline. Again, at staff, we're working on the budget for that first hearing that we'll have, or the first budget workshop, I should say. That'll be the 14th.
Forgot what time that was.
Yeah, that's.
9 a.m.
9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Is that open to the public? Good.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All you guys are invited if you want to really get into something boring.
What was
Bring
the,
donuts.
Yeah, bring to them.
what was the date on that budget hearing?
March
Yeah, that's,
14th. It's a Wednesday at 9
I
a.m.
think some of the main topics, unless anyone has any questions for me.
I just have one. I know that we had asked it to start talking with Lincoln County. I was just wondering if staff has had a chance to start setting that
Wade,
negotiation.
yeah, Wade has called and emailed, and just due to some of the other pressing matters, that has not occurred yet.
Is that it? Okay, thank you, Aaron.